see how it did. Okay. Did a good job at getting up the potato flakes off of the carpet, with the only exception being the edge right here where the carpet meets the floor. And as far as the pickup on the floor itself, there are a few flakes left behind, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So because this machine doesn't have a rotating brush shutoff, oh, and you can see there's a good amount left on that crevice right there. So not good for crevice pickups, not good for transitions between carpets and hard floors, but it does have a hose with a crevice tool that you could use to get that last bit. So as far as carpets and hard floors, carpets this does perfectly fine on, especially for the price range, and bare floors, the squeegee on the bottom does help, but it's not going to be as good as a brush roll shutoff or as a roller that's dedicated to hard floors. So performance of this, more geared towards carpet, but can do bare floors in a pinch. So this right here is the cheapest upright vacuum that you can buy from Dirt Devil. This is the Dirt Devil Power Express, and based on the store you buy it, it could also be known as the Dirt Devil Endura Lite. But besides the color scheme, it's the same machine. In fact, I have one in red, and one that used to be sold in this beautiful sort of tealish color. I forgot the exact name of the color. I think it is teal. As far as I'm aware, this color is not available anymore, and you can only find the red, and you can find the Endura Lite variant in black. But colors aren't usually important. What's important is performance. And as you can see from that first clip, oh, there's an ambulance going by. As you can see from that first clip, the carpet cleaning performance in this machine is perfectly adequate. Now there is no height adjustment, and there is a squeegee on the back, which means that this machine does okay on bare floors, but on carpets, it can be very difficult to push on anything but the lowest pile carpets. So something like my carpet, the machine is difficult to push, and that does outweigh the benefits of the machine being ultra light. This machine only weighs 8 pounds and only uses 7 amps of power, so it's relatively power efficient compared to other machines, although the power difference isn't too big considering a lot of full-size uprights now from companies like Bissell and Dirt Devil are usually 8 amps, so the amperage difference is not very much, so don't think you're saving a lot of power by going to a compact machine, at least in this case. But as far as the lightweight factor, that definitely is a benefit. The machine is very easy to pick up and move around, and because the base is relatively small, it's able to get into tight areas more easily than a full-size vacuum. So there are benefits. Now, this machine's carpet cleaning performance is perfectly adequate, like I mentioned, but again, since there is no height adjustment, it may not do well on certain carpets, both in terms of performance and especially in terms of handling. So because this brush roller does not shut off, that means it does have a stretch belt, so you will have to replace the belt every once in a while. It's belt style 15, and I did do a video on replacing the belt, which I will link in the description, along with cleaning the filter and that whole process. So that is very easy to do, but it is an added expense you will have to worry about with this machine. So the starting price, while it is very cheap to pick up one of these machines, keeping them running can cost a little bit over time, which is why many people like to just throw away the product and replace it instead of doing any maintenance on it, which is very wasteful. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but theoretically you could. So if you do look at the brush roller down here, now, this brush roller isn't the worst as far as accumulating hair, so if you have long hair in your family, this brush roller will get tangled in hair fairly easily, but it's not the worst that I've seen. It's a very thin brush roller, and the bristles are very soft, yet the machine is still very aggressive, so it is capable of deep cleaning very well. And this little wheel is your only form of height adjustment. You don't want to leave the machine running in the upright position, even though you have to do that in order to use the tools, but you want to make sure that you're pulling the machine back and not allowing it to tilt forward, as if the machine tilts forward, it could burn the brush into your carpet and cause damage, or suck up something and potentially break the belt. If you smell a rubber burning smell coming from this area of the machine, it's probably not the motor, but it's probably just the belt burning up, as this belt is made out of rubber. So you will have to replace this. This is belt style 15. This entire bottom plate is held on with just a few screws, so it is easy to pull this off and if you want to change the belt or clean off the brush roller. As you can see, I did do that in a previous video as well, which again I will link in the description. As far as filters go and emptying the bin, there's a button right here. This also functions as your carrying handle, and it is very easy to pick up the machine and carry it. This handle is relatively thin, but it still feels sturdy enough. I'm not too worried about this handle breaking, but these buttons do sometimes fail on these machines, so be careful with it. Just press this, and the entire bin pops off. There's a small gray button that you simply push, and that allows the trap door to fall open. And the filter is in this little cage right here. It's a style F112 filter, and there's a maintenance guide right here. Again, I'll link that video in the description. Right down here is another filter. Now we can see that the filtration on this is not very good. We actually have coarse particles that I vacuumed up that have fallen out of the machine, so that's not very good. But there is a small filter under here, and it's held underneath by this little tab, so you want to make sure that both of these filters maintain and are clean. Now there's a little port right here, so you want to make sure that doesn't get clogged with anything. And as long as you keep all of those steps in place, then this vacuum should run for a perfectly long time, and you shouldn't have any issues. As far as reclining the machine, there is no pedal brake. You just simply press your foot on the front of this and pull it back. So that's fairly self-explanatory, and you push it forward until it locks into place. Hear that? Now it's in. Your power button is down here. You have a lower cord hook, and you have an upper cord hook, which is reversible, so you can easily remove the cord. And you do have a cord clip right up here at the top of the handle if you want to keep the cord out of the way while you're vacuuming carpets. Here's the model information. This particular machine is model number UD20120. And it does come with two attachments, a dusting brush and a crevice tool. So this crevice tool and this dusting brush both fit onto the end of the hose. In order to remove the hose, you simply press this button right here, and the hose pops out. This hose, while it looks like a stretch hose, it's not very stretchy. It's perfectly adequate for vacuuming couches and upholstery, but as far as getting up into hard-to-reach areas, you're not going to get much. Now, this is also not a standard fitting, so unfortunately you can't easily use different attachments on this machine. Now, it does have a dusting brush, which works perfectly well. It also functions as an upholstery tool, but it's better as a dusting brush. So if you have a type of couch like mine where it doesn't trap a lot of hair, this works just fine. And you have a crevice tool which can get into crevices. There's no extension wands on this machine, so you'll have to bend down to get baseboards and whatnot, as the edge cleaning on this is not very good, but it is there, and you can use that. You can also take the dusting brush and put it on the end of the crevice tool as a pseudo extension wand. And while that is a nice feature, and I am glad it's here, it's not the most useful or practical because this only adds about 2 inches to your reach. But it is there, and it is an option. And because the crevice tool sticks out beyond where the dusting brush is, a lot of debris will get stuck in the crack between the two. So it is nice that that's an option, but yeah. Both the attachments fit on board the machine right up here, and they're easy enough to keep out of the way so they don't get lost. You can wrap the hose around the top and click it down into place. So, filtration on this machine, as expected, is very poor for the price range, but again, you'd expect that. The machine is a little loud, but it's not nearly as loud as the Power Stick Lite that I reviewed, and it's about the same as the Bissell PowerForce Compact, which I actually prefer this over the Bissell PowerForce Compact, which is unusual in a Bissell versus Dirt Devil comparison, because the build quality in this machine feels better, and the performance, I feel, is virtually the same between the two. But I feel like the hose is better on the Bissell, but the filter setup, I feel, is better on this machine. So there is a bit of a discrepancy there. And again, like I do feel like the build quality is better on this machine. So if you want the longer hose, grab the PowerForce Compact. If you want the better build quality, go with this machine. Other than that, the machines are very similar. The Bissell also has better reach, but that does make the handle feel like it's worse quality. So again, there is a trade-off. So you could pick either one of those machines if you want a very budget compact upright in the $30 to $40 price range. But for me, I would recommend just buying a full-size upright instead, like the Bissell PowerForce Helix, as that will be more versatile, have better attachments, have a longer cord, and just overall be a better machine. And if you compare the PowerForce Helix at Walmart to this Power Express at Target, which is known as the Endura Lite, they're the exact same price. So there isn't really much of a difference there. So I generally don't recommend either of these compact machines, but if you are going to go with one of these, the Dirt Devil is personally my pick, although it is very close between the two. So the PowerForce Compact is also an option. I'm not going to say it's a good machine, but it is an option, and so is this machine. So again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend either one of these machines, but if you specifically need a compact upright for specific tasks, then the Power Express is a perfectly okay option, provided you don't need a long cord, you don't mind having to change belts or clean filters, and if the attachments and the power isn't really something that you need. So if you're shopping on a super tight budget but you really want something brand new and you have an apartment that's mostly carpeted with maybe a kitchen and a bathroom, then this could be a perfectly good option. Especially since this will do better on bare floors than the Bissell and better on carpets as well. So the performance on this machine is going to be better. So anyways, this is Intellitech Studios signing out with a quick review of the Dirt Devil Power Express and Endura Lite. Again, it's available in that color as well, but you probably can't find it. So there's no difference between the two other than the color. So there's not much point in mentioning that. But yeah, so this is a vacuum that you can theoretically buy. Is it a recommended machine? Not necessarily, but you could theoretically do worse. So I will link this machine in the description. I will link this variant, the Power Express variant, because the Target and Big Lots variant, the Endura Lite, is more expensive and there's no benefit to it. The cord and the hose and everything is the same on both, to my knowledge, so there isn't a benefit in going for one or the other. So just buy it at Walmart where it's a cheaper price. So, anyways, this is Intellitech Studios with my full review of the very meh Dirt Devil Power Express. And if you have any questions about this machine, if there's anything that I forgot to mention, be sure to drop those in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. So again, this is Intellitech Studios signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a good one. Peace.